It's that time again.
It is. It's Thursday and it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
It
We
is.
just finished lunch and said, oops, hey,
We got someplace we got to be.
yeah, we gotta turn on the camera. Lights, camera, action.
Action.
You know,
And here we are.
here we are. We are opposite Saxes and have been for, gosh, 48 years now.
You've forgotten already.
We've been up
since June
No,
23rd.
yeah, we just had our 48th. Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It
is.
What'd you want to talk about today?
Well, I think this is my idea, right?
It was your idea.
Yeah.
So what is your idea?
Have your priorities changed in the last 10 years?
Oh, I don't know if there's anybody that could say no.
That they haven't. Yeah.
I mean, because whatever your priorities were or have been, COVID probably knocked it out for at least 2 years.
Yeah. I mean, everything to me has changed. My body has changed. The way I look at things has changed. So my priorities definitely have changed. Even the furniture in our house, I think I'm changing my mind on.
Yeah.
Is it a result of aging? I guess.
Well, there's probably a lot of factors that go into changing your priorities. When we were working, that was one of our number one top priorities. Get up in the morning, get ready, go to the store, open the store, run the store for 8-9 hours that we were open, and then go home and either pick up some dinner on the way home or make something at home. Then the next day, your priority was get up and do it again.
Or go home and see how much you could get done before you had to turn around and do it all again the next day.
Yeah.
Or on the weekend, see how much you can get done.
And if you go a lot further back, when you had kids, they were pretty much your number one priority.
Right.
Once they were off to school, then you determined what we were going to do. And for us, again, it was going to work.
So now being retired, naturally they've changed. But do you think they changed from year to year?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I still think they do.
Like?
Well, I mean, we're doing shows now. And all doing shows every week, and that's kind of a priority for both of us, doing this show as well as the other couple of shows that I do. We still have a pet, and she is a priority, because she has a schedule, and we have to prioritize around that schedule. And sometimes when we go out to a movie or to something, I'm usually looking at my watch because I realize the time we left. And it's now 3-4 hours. And if we wanted to go someplace after the movie or something, we might have to go home and let the dog out, and feed her, because that's a priority.
And what's a big priority in our lives now?
What?
Our grandson.
Well, yes.
And we want to spend time with him too. And
you talk about how do priorities change from year to year? Yes. Especially like with your grandson. Because your priority with him when he was 6 is different than it was when he was 7, is different than what it is now at 12.
And it's going to be different next year and the year after that, because he's not going to want to even be with us.
I think the reverse is a better question, is what are his priorities? Because he used to call us when he was 7, 8 years old and want to come over, play cards, play Legos and stuff. When he comes over now, he just as soon sit on the couch and he's got his iPad.
Or watch a movie with us.
And
I mean, he does like doing things with us.
Yeah.
Where you make it sound like he doesn't like to do anything.
I know, but his priorities aren't as involved as they used to. I mean,
and
sometimes
it won't be.
Yeah.
It won't be. I mean, our kids were the same way.
Yeah. Now, I mean, he's very musical. He plays the saxophone and he plays piano.
Yeah,
and
he's very accomplished.
So he practices diligently at that, and then he has recitals, and we go to his recitals. So that's part of his priority, which he involves us in.
Right now, we have a huge priority, now that I think about it.
And that is?
That is on these 107-degree days that we are experiencing, going out and...
Well, the priority is not to go out.
Well, not to go, well, you have to go out, and so you go out either early in the morning or in the evening, and you water, you hose down your shrubs.
Yeah,
That's really it's gotten to be our thing.
you hose down your dog. Too.
I give the dog a bath.
Really,
But no,
that's an
seriously.
interesting change of priorities. The weather is a factor
Yeah.
for your priorities
Yeah,
because
I just thought of
she
that.
would just soon sleep until 10 o'clock in the morning and go out. And when we
No.
drag her little butt out of bed at 7 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah, it's too hot.
because it's getting too hot, she's looking up at us like, what? Can I sleep a little bit longer? Then when she gets outside, she realizes, hey, wow, this concrete's
friggin' hot out here.
Yeah, this concrete's a little
Yeah.
tough on the old pads here. So
Yeah.
let's go do our thing. And
You know, with priorities, have your tastes changed? Like mine have, like looking around the house. Although you could live in a tent, and sleep on a sleeping bag, and you would be fine. You don't really require very much, but
creeping up on my priorities is to have a tiny house. Not as a primary house, as a second
God, I
house,
hope not.
just to get away, which is interesting because tiny houses are very popular now, to get away and go stay in a tiny house. And when we were growing up, those were called campers.
Yeah. Well, but tiny houses don't move. Well, they can.
Well, they can.
But
yeah.
normally they stay fixed to the ground.
Yeah. But, priorities, and again, just the word priorities. People used to have a priority list. Now it's called a bucket list. And sometimes a bucket list is
Well,
you prioritize the things that you want to do.
A bucket
6
list to
months.
me is something you want to do before you are
You go
sailing off into the
to
sunset.
that big campground in the sky.
Yes, yeah, that's the
And,
bucket
and,
list.
and it is, but you prioritize that list, don't you? Because you take out those 10 or 12 things that you want to do. And maybe this year you say, you know what? I wanted to go bungee jumping. I think I'll move that down from number 2 to number 12. I mean, you're right. You reprioritize your life.
I guess we're constantly doing that.
And is that a bad thing or is that a good thing?
No, it just makes you realize that you have less time in your lives as you are aging.
As well as we get older, you realize that your priority list, you want to do the things that you are physically capable of doing sooner rather than later.
It's like when they say you're in the sunset of your life. Is that what it is?
Yes, in your sunset years. When do you at what time do you go from your early years approaching your sunset years? Was it, if you were a runner, when you turned 40, you became a master runner. And then when you became 60, you were a senior runner.
Mm-hmm.
AARP says when you're 50, you're a senior.
You're senior.
Sometimes people say I'm not a senior until I'm 65 or 70.
When that Medicare check.
Medicare says you're a senior at 65.
Maybe it's whenever you decide you're a senior. Everybody's got different ages.
Yeah.
Everybody's got different.
If you're 80 years old and you're healthy and you're mountain climbing, then
go for it.
You
baby.
may not consider yourself to be a senior.
Mm-hmm.
And that mountain climbing is probably a priority in your life.
Mm-hmm.
What's a priority in your life right now?
I'm looking at my watch for a next meal.
Looking to me, it's 1 o'clock. Let's see, what's for dinner?
I kind of was thinking about that. There's you, honey. You really are my priority.
Oh boy.
You are.
You're scraping the bottom of the barrel now.
No, you're my priority. I mean, I have so much. Our grandson, you, the dog, my mom, my family.
Well, we got each other, so we are
my
each
closet.
Your closet.
Yeah.
Cleaning out the old so you can replace it with some new.
Well, I wasn't really thinking about cleaning out. I was just thinking about adding new.
Yeah. Add 2, get rid of 1.
Well, when you buy something, you are supposed to get rid of something, like 3 things. You
Well-
buy something, you get rid of 3 things.
Right. And how often does that work?
No, I do that. I'm constantly cleaning out. I'm always saying to you, I'm donating. Do you have something that you would like to give? Oh, I haven't decided yet.
Well, because you asked me the day before you're getting ready to take your stuff to,
Well, we're getting off on a tangent.
well, but that's something that's a priority for you. I can tell you that there is something that it could be a priority in your life, and then is what you might want to do in your retirement. Maybe it's getting into a
Seriously,
franchise.
yeah.
That could be
definitely.
a priority as you get a little bit older. And if you decide that maybe that's something you do want to do, this is the guy to help you, Irving Chung,
Yep.
who is a franchise consultant. He knows absolutely everything there is to know about
He
franchising.
does.
And doesn't have to cost a lot of money. And there are even programs that can help you underwrite the cost of getting into a franchise. He's a good guy. He can help you.
Maybe we should
Call.
make that a priority.
That's
Put that on our list.
That's a possibility. Open what kind of a franchise would you open?
Oh, there's just so many.
There's enough cookies and donuts
Yeah,
and
and
so they have nail
can't keep-
salons.
oh, wow. You know what? Well, it depends. If we're talking nationwide or we're talking just our little area.
Start local. You can always go nationwide. You can call Irving, ask him. Utah.
That car wash without water sounds very inviting.
Yeah. Well, you talked about maybe doing errand running for senior citizens.
Yeah, but that's my own business. I mean, if you're talking about going into a franchise.
But you could start the business, and if it works, then you can franchise it out.
Yeah.
And maybe Irving already says, no, there's already a franchise you can get into, senior rides or something like that. They got Meals on Wheels.
Yeah.
How about?
Yeah, there aren't enough, there isn't enough transportation for the seniors in most areas of the country.
Uber
anymore.
used to be the thing.
Yeah.
Uber became a really big
That's-
franchise and all, but now Uber is getting pretty expensive.
Okay, and I don't think that seniors were using Uber. Seniors were using buses or senior ride shares.
Yeah.
But there isn't as much, the government isn't giving us much money for some of these. And so they're not subsidized as much.
And that's
as like they used to
another
be.
thing that we have learned to prioritize over the last few years, especially with COVID. And that is, instead of now that the gasoline prices are still relatively high, they're becoming a little more manageable. But instead of running over to the grocery store for 2 or 3 items, now you wait and you prioritize, you make a list, you add to the list, and maybe once a week, you go over and you get everything on the list. So you make one trip instead of making 3 or 4 little trips.
Yeah, but then there are some people in our neighborhood that constantly have things being ordered and they order them and then they're delivered
We have
every day.
we have a neighbor. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
every day we
because
see
it's
it.
her priority.
So you don't have to wait to get that on your list unless you don't want to have it delivered and you enjoy going to the store and choosing it yourself.
And she kind of works out too. And she's very fit. I don't understand, I guess it's just easier to pick up the phone and say, send me over a pizza.
Actually, I think she
Or-
has some medical issues.
Oh, well, hope she gets better, because that would be a priority.
Yeah.
If you got medical issues,
Yeah.
that's a priority, right? Well, if you've got priorities, one thing that you can add to your list of priorities is to be here on Thursdays at 1 o'clock in the afternoon for Opposite Saxes.
Absolutely.
Because it's
Should be on the
it's a
list.
priority in our life.
Should be in the list.
It should be one on yours. Okay, so go out, make it a good day, and come back and see us next week. Okay.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.